Welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach,
And I'm Pepper.
and we're getting back to the Tap Talk. If you've been watching the last two, I believe, the last two Tap Talks we've done, you've ended up getting our personal group high score.
Yep.
Back-to-back games, beating
games.
your score, which was pretty crazy.
But now I must take this crown and give it
Pass
to you.
it over.
You look
Because I almost doubled my previous high score. I think I'm guessing people could maybe guess which Civ it could be.
Yeah, especially since they saw the title of the
Right.
video.
Right, and one thing to note right off the bat too is that we do not play with the adjustments or anything, so
True.
that would probably change it
Yeah.
pretty significantly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as you know, we're playing as the Futurists versus the Mystics.
Yes.
Or you could have guessed maybe, seeing the title, you knew it was going to be one of those two. So I either was really, really great at guessing what I was going to do in my game, or I just basically dominated from the beginning type of thing. But
Yeah, so we chose these kind of more for a thematic tie, where the Futurists are from the future and the Mystics can see the future.
right, yeah. So we're seeing kind of how they. I mean, I don't think there was much like interaction, too much
No,
interaction
not really.
between them. But yeah, just the more thematic type thing.
Yeah.
To the story. But yeah, so in our game, I was just kind of surprisingly in the games of Tapestry we played. I think I've only started with the Futurists like one time. I've gotten them sometimes in the middle of the game, and it usually always messes with me when I get them. Like I'm sort of towards the end of the game,
Yeah,
and then
just
it all of a
jumps you
sudden
ahead
moves me ahead
on the
and
track.
just ruins
Yeah.
what I was trying to do. But yeah, here starting especially with the arts track now, we're using the arts track.
Yep.
We're using the plans and play all the expansion stuff just to kind of see what could be done with that, because I hadn't really had the opportunity to use them before.
Yeah. I've never started the game with them except in a solo game that I played, which it's actually illegal to use the Futurist in the solo version. But that aside, I too have my only experience mainly is gaining them in the middle of the game. But usually it's for my benefit, where it hurts you when you gain them mid-game. I've usually had some pretty epic things happen when that happens.
Right.
The Mystics, on the other hand, I think I've played a couple times before. They're ones that I've always had a hard time with. I just tempted every time now to just put one on the first spot and just gain resources and forgo the points, but I always try to get those points, and I never get them. But
Right.
I thought maybe I can tackle them, and I'll mute my cell phone, but thought maybe I can tackle them and actually get it right this time.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, if you didn't know, the Futurists, they
Jamie
mysteriously-
Stegmeyer calling. Congratulations on the high score, Zach.
Yes, I maybe he did. But yeah, they mysteriously begin their civilization with significant advancements. When you gain the civilization, advance on each track by exactly 4 spaces, with the end of each track as the limit. Do not gain any benefits, bonuses, or landmarks. Also gain 1 of each resource. So I think if you start the game with that, one of the adjustments they made now is I think you lose like the red resource, and now I think it's all the way up to you lose 2 of them. So really you only are gaining like 1 additional resource to start. But yeah, with that advantage of kind of starting with 8 resources, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, but you're in the more expensive
Right.
area
start
of the
right
track.
off with expensive things, and you kind of miss some of those early income buildings. So it's a little bit of push and pull.
Yeah, the Mystics boast of their ability to predict the future, where you're from. That's how I do it. I just ask my pal here, and he
And
just
I
tells
must have
me.
lied to you, maybe.
Yes, sabotage! They're actually just good planners, though, which, no, they're not. When you gain the civilization, use player tokens to select a number in each of these categories, which the categories are tech cards, complete districts in your capital city, spots on the map that you control, and number of tracks that you've gotten to the end of. So you'd select a number, it goes from like 1 to 9 for each of those. And then when you reach that number for the first time, gain a wild resource. And then on your final income turn for each category you predicted exactly correct, gain 10 points.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's a very unique one, for sure. Definitely very different in what they kind of do.
Yeah.
But yeah, then kind of getting into our game, I ended up winning 671 to your 311,
Yes,
which is still
yes.
a pretty good game.
Yeah,
I think whenever we break 300, I think it's a
Yeah.
fairly decent game for any civ, and it all kind of comes down to what cards you get and everything like that.
And I mean, it's really only 360 points separating us, so
Right.
I mean, with those civilization adjustments, it's pretty even, I would say.
I think that a few extra resources probably changed.
Or I guess
I don't remember
what
if
were
they
there
get something.
adjustments.
Yeah, I don't remember if they start with
You
something.
talk, I will run and check the adjustments.
Yes.
Hey.
So yeah, what I was my plan from the beginning, then since I hadn't really had the chance to play these before, and with the arts track, it's still relatively new to us, so I knew I wanted to kind of go up that again. I think in the games I've played with it, I've only kind of really pursued the end of that track once. But I wanted to go up that one, and also the tech and military track, along with, since on the science one, you kind of start in a good spot where the next 3 actions are you can roll the science die and get the benefit, and then the other one, the next one after that allows you to do it again, or else gain a gray building. Typically, I think I'll use the science die for that, but it is a little different here because that at that point that's the only there's only one gray building after that you can actually get off your mat. So it's kind of that like, do I take it here or not? But I'd kind of decided I wanted to try to use those to get up the other tracks. So kind of right off the bat, I was kind of getting into the spot right before the 3rd tier on the military, tech, and arts track, just so then I could kind of do those 2 rolls and back-to-back to kind of hope that I got one of those 4 tracks, excluding the exploration one. So those are that was kind of my focus in the game, and I was just hoping to kind of see where that ended up leading me. Sometimes when you kind of focus on like every kind of track, it can kind of mess with you, but it ended up working almost perfectly for me. Because once I did that, then I think I ended up rolling 2 of them that I don't remember which ones they were exactly, but they weren't the exploration ones, so it played out exactly how I wanted it to, where I kind of saved some resources by doing that, because you got into that area where you're going to have to spend 3 usually. But then after that I kind of just heavily went at the exploration track to get to kind of those end benefits where you go up, or for free can go up those tracks, so that I could get past those 3-cost ones as well. And I actually gotten to the point the second to last spot on the track, and I was actually sitting really well at that point. I don't remember how much I had off, but I had like half of my capital city filled at that point, maybe even more, and I think I had quite a few of the income buildings off, just by, I think, some tech cards I had gotten, and I had kind of finagled my way around to get a few extra more buildings off than I would have thought I would be able to at that point. But then I kind of just stayed on that spot, and then slowly worked my way up the other tracks. And I had actually gotten the lithium ion batteries, which square benefit allows you to take an action again, and I knew I wanted to use that to hit that 2 more times to get those, move up those tracks for free again, with the benefits on the tech track that it would allow me to first upgrade it. So then I'd use it on that one with the upgrade circle benefit. I don't remember what that space is called, but then 2 spaces later where you get to use a square benefit. I was hoping to use it twice while leaving my guy on that spot. But one thing, the only, I think, major thing that I kind of had not go exactly as planned is I had totally forgotten in my mind that this required either me or my neighbor to be in the 4th tier of the exploration track. And at that point, I still had not moved on the track at all, and I think you were just one space ahead of me, so we were very low on that track. So then I had to kind of make a push up that track. I think I mostly just used resources, but I think I also on the arts track, some of the second to last and the fourth to last actions allow you to go up tracks for free. So I think if I remember right, I used, even though it maybe wasn't the best way to save resources, I used both of those to help me go up that track as well. But at that point, the brown building, income buildings, were the ones I had the least of off my mat, so I was only getting 2 mushrooms per time, so I needed some way to help me get up that track to where I would be able to use that benefit and then really finish off. Because I felt like I all of a sudden, I was kind of towards the end of almost all the tracks at once, then was able to just go like bam, 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 and finish them all off right as you were creeping up finally to getting to some ends of some tracks. Yeah. But, it ended up, I don't know that it could have worked much more perfectly for me.
I don't think so.
I think it all just kind of fell into place for me pretty well. I got this filled in really early, so I scored the full 3 times. Plus, I had gotten the ballet art masterpiece. I always forget what they're called as well. So I had like a 4 times multiplier of my city that I got to score twice for full points. And then at the end of the tech track, I ended up actually choosing the arts track. And for my civ that I got at the end of that track, I ended up getting the collectors, which at that point I was at the end of I think I was at the end of every track, except maybe, I don't know if I had done the green one yet, because I was still like 1 space away, and then I ended up doing that and getting 20 points, which was pretty awesome. But it ended up working out for me that I went up to the arts track because I ended up with the first action. The collectors kind of want a few different items in the game, and that's why I thought, this isn't really going to be good because I'm at the end. But the first one got me a tapestry card, which I needed. Second one let me take a building, or pay for a random building. I actually had 1 gray building left, which is another thing they want.
You needed exactly gray.
Exactly gray, and I had 1 left. So I lucked out on that, and then one of the masterpiece cards had a way to conquer, which was another thing that it needed. And then Pepper had not gone up that track because since I started on the 4th space, I didn't get any of the beginning buildings. And it was still there, so I ended up actually, the first 4 spaces of redoing that track, I ended up getting an item for every one of them. So I found that just really awesome. So it was a really great game for me.
That really was the cherry on top.
It really was. That was almost the best part about it. That just felt so awesome. I was like, wow. Like I didn't even notice it.
It all comes together.
It just all came together for me. So just a lot of points scoring over and over again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it really helped that I ended up getting, I think every time I had the chance to do it, I got a masterpiece, and those really helped score a lot of extra points.
For sure.
And I ended up getting all of these upgraded because I got so far up the track again.
And did you say your collectors that when you placed it on there, you also get a resource?
You get a resource.
That's not on there already?
Yes. So
that allowed you to just
keep going.
Continue going.
So I actually got almost, I would say, to the furthest point that really helped me.
No other spot would benefit you except quite a few resources.
Right. It would have taken me quite a bit more, but I don't think it could have been much better.
No, because your capital city, you scored your full capital city with an additional scoring with that masterpiece card twice, which was 18 times 4. That's just a ton of points.
So I was really I don't know if another game will replicate this for me. But I was just really happy with it.
And on to the Mystics, which by the way, they do start with an additional resource.
Oh, okay.
So
they probably weren't evenly matched.
No, probably not.
Starting with about 4 extra resources on you.
I mean, I'll take the win. I'll take the win.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
But the Mystics, again, kind of were playing with the I don't know if this is the Plans Employee card, these starting landmarks that kind of give you a little goal to gain a building for your capital city mat, which, again, the capital city mat, which is a new one from the Arts and Architecture expansion, is the Mesa. It's pretty much a wide open mat, so I was looking to get a lot of large buildings, but sadly he had the Futurists, so he was farther up on the tracks and a lot closer to those large income buildings. But luckily I think there was an income, or not, landmarks, not income buildings. There was a landmark card in the tech track, as well as a gray building tech card, which this said at the end of your turn, if you have at least 3 income buildings of the same type in your capital city, gain this landmark. So I was planning on going up the science, maybe 3 spots just to get those 2 gray buildings, and go up the tech to get those landmark cards, as well as that gray building card, which when I eventually got that would give me 3 buildings of the same type, which would give me a landmark and fill in my city. So I was planning on going science and technology. So I kind of mapped it out for my mystics to predict kind of where we're going to go. I said 2 tech cards because you can gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a possibility of 6, with 2 of those being optional. So I thought 1, 2, 3, 4 could be good. I thought I'd probably get one of the optional ones, and then there's a spot at near the end of the track where you can sacrifice 3 for 10 points. So I thought I'll get up to 5 and sacrifice those 3 to bring me back down to 2 for those 10 points at the end of the game. That didn't happen.
That was an interesting thought. But I thought it would be a good way to use that.
But yeah, I thought that way I can get that extra resource for getting 2 tech cards earlier, and then get back down to it.
Definitely an interesting thought.
And I thought complete districts, I really wanted to focus on that, so I put that up at 7. I thought he had a hard time with this before. So I thought I'm probably not going to fill it all in, because I'm not going to get those large landmarks, but maybe I can do something. So I put that as 7. I did hit 7. Spoiler alert, I did end up filling in my capital city completely.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was fortunate to have a few decent landmark cards come out of there, and so I did end up getting a resource for that down the line. So I was planning on focusing on those, so I said, okay, I'm just going to kind of explore a little bit and conquer a little bit, which, I mean, we'll put up a picture and see I'm blue here, and I have pretty much control of the whole board, although we split it pretty evenly. You have quite a few spots as well. But I was planning on just moving 1 and then moving into the center island for that achievement, so I thought I'll control 3 districts. And if he conquers me, maybe I can go conquer another one and kind of get that. But as you can see, I ended up controlling 8 districts. And I thought for getting to the end of the track, I predicted 3. I knew that would be tough, but it's not that hard, especially I was planning on also going on the Masterpiece track, which I think is a very powerful track. And
Arts track?
Or, yes. Now
you could call it the Masterpiece. You could call it the Masterpiece track.
But yeah, I was just really hoping with the free movement from the science track that I was planning on going up. And just those 2 tracks, I was like, okay, I think I'm going to get to the end of each of those. But sadly, I did only end up getting to the end of the exploration and the technology. So I did not get that. I didn't even get the resource, and I got 0 points from that. So 3 resources and 0 points is what I got from my Civ. So with that out of the way, but yeah, it started off, I decided to move up once on science, moved up with no benefit on exploration, so I'm like, okay, that's good. I didn't like that spot. Place down a tile with the next spot, explore, go and conquer it. Get the tech card that I want, and I was just then I kind of fell into, I drew a tapestry card. Whenever you conquer a territory tile, gain the benefit on that tile in addition to the benefit of the conquer dice. So then I kind of just fell into exploring and conquering, which I very quickly got over 3 districts or 3 areas on the board that I control. I was still hoping maybe you'd try to conquer me. Of course, it's the one game. No one tried to conquer anyone. But yeah, so then I was just going heavy into that, and I wasn't getting my gray buildings. So I ended up going for brown buildings instead to get 3 of those, which I ended up getting, and getting me my landmark, and kind of just filled up my capital city from bottom to top, which it worked out really nicely. And what are the ones that I got? I got a 2x4, or no, a 2x2 and a 2x4, which really filled in the spots at just the right moments that I needed to get resources. But yeah, I was just, my second era felt like it went on a really long time. I know that I was just stuck with just one tapestry card blade for so long, just because I was filling in those capital city spots, which I think was kind of my main focus of my game. It just kind of turned into filling that in, and then I ended up saying, okay, I gotta go up technology because I need to actually upgrade to get these landmarks. So
Right.
I ended up started going up that track, and still going up the exploration. I kind of shifted. I kind of said, I'm not gonna conquer much more. Just go up these 2 tracks. And yeah, I went up and got some more technology. There was a exploration tile that gave me a tech card, and I went and conquered it. And thanks to my pirate rule card, I got, and I rolled the die to gain the benefit of the tile. So I got 2 tech cards with that, and then another one for placing the tile. So I knew then that I was in trouble, and I was not going to hit my 2 tech cards prediction. A bad plan.
Started making a huge mess of things.
But yeah, I mean, that was just the best tapestry card I got, so I just thought I'll just abandon that. I won't get that, I won't score points for that, but maybe the other ones. But yeah, so I went up there and just trying to get more income buildings, and my mat was starting to fill in pretty good, so I was trying to get my gray buildings off as well. Ended up going, I don't know, I don't have it's not as burnt into my memory as your great game, but what did I do?
At some point you started
yeah.
going up to the exploration as well,
Yeah.
after you got so far.
Because yeah, I had gone up to get that tank factory landmark, just because you had started moving up, and then I kind of stopped there, and you moved
Just
up
kept going.
the rest of the way, and got to the end. I got a tech card that let me upgrade twice, ignoring prerequisites, which that wasn't really an issue because you were very far on all the tracks, so
Right.
I pretty much had fulfilled all those prerequisites.
Must have helped with all the cards
with,
you had.
Yeah, with 2 upgrades to get that one, definitely get it in the top spot so that I could maybe activate it a couple times. I could really upgrade my landmarks and fill in my capital city even faster, which that actually worked out pretty good, and got me a ton of resources to extend. Which, I mean, even though he doubled my score, I'd still say I had a pretty good game.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, and then I went along and got some space tiles. Not the best. I mean, I got a free science roll and some points. Got to score tech cards, and I didn't play this one, which was 5 points for every time you move up on military. But my resources were pretty drained there, because I had kind of, instead of just going up there completely, I'd kind of just been going back and forth between technology and exploration. But that one scores for points in in technology, how far you are along the track. So I wanted to kind of sit before that and get that up as high as possible without exiting that.
Right.
But yeah, so, and then I didn't want to finish that until I knew what tiles I would possibly grab for toppling my city.
Your lighthouse.
But yeah, so got some space tiles just to make myself feel better. I knew I wasn't gonna win this game, but I did some cool things. I think I got this filled. I was really scared of this. I just picked randomly between like 3 of the new mats, and this one was probably the one I was the most afraid of.
Yeah, you did a really good job considering. Yeah, I got almost all the buildings along there. Like you said, I think the tank factory, and then looks like you got another one as well. Oh, from the tech track, I think you got that one as well.
Yep.
So, but otherwise, I think I got almost every other one.
Yeah.
You got all the first ones as well, but none of the.
And then another highlight, maybe this is my cherry on top, even though it wasn't the end of the game. I got the Plea for Aid Tapestry card, which is when played for each track where all tokens are more advanced than yours, gain 2 points and a resource. So that got me all but one. The exploration, we were on the same spot, so I didn't quite get the maximum here, but I got 8 points and 4 resources, which gave me. I wouldn't have been able to get to the end of both of those tracks without those 4 resources. So yeah, that made my final round what it was.
Right. Yeah, I would say that was probably out of all of ours was probably the best one, maybe.
Yeah, I would say so.
I didn't really mention mine, but there's not really too great. They're not. I mean, my first one did nothing for me. My last one got me 10 points, and yeah, I guess my best one is diplomacy, where everyone got a resource,
yep.
and then I got to take a building from my income mat. That helped me get some off.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't really have anything good. But now that you did ask me if I got the points for those, did you give me the 10 points for the end of the track right away?
I don't remember ever moving yours.
Yeah, I don't remember it either, because I know I moved it when I got the one for this one, the 10 points for the political posturing. So.
No, I don't think I did. Because yeah, you asked, or I asked you.
Yeah, and I saw was the Tavo one. I forgot about the other one.
I did not.
So I don't think I scored that.
10 more points. A new high score. A new record. Which
for
is,
us. 281.
281.
It went
You
down.
lost 400 points.
So 680. Wow. So even better, I guess.
Enter it in the app again as a separate game.
Yes. 2 different games.
Just get your average up there.
But yeah, I think that was kind of how the game played out. I think you did a really good job for kind of what I was doing at the same time.
Yeah.
I think that's still a pretty solid game.
Yeah, I think I needed to get my gray buildings off quicker, because other than the final round, I don't know if I scored it once with the 2 times for my city, because it's getting really nice and filled in. I don't know if I did get it for the 2 times, but I was able to get a ton of gray buildings off in the last round. But yeah, like you were able to score that multiple times, a full city. I was not able to do that.
Yeah, that's where some big points can come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of our game, and I would say kind of overall for these two, if you're kind of new to Tapestry, I would say even though this one is very powerful, I think knowing how to manage your resources in Tapestry helps a lot with this one, because otherwise, especially if you use the changes, you're gonna feel like you might not have. I feel like you'd feel like you don't have enough to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
you have to be pretty efficient with it still.
I mean, I can't imagine starting off in those second tiers with, because you get
5 resources. Because I don't even know if that's the most up to date. I think they actually updated it again after that, because I think now it's 3 less. So that makes it a lot tougher. So I don't know that. And that one too, it's very hard if you haven't played Tapestry. No, I wouldn't maybe suggest these for your first game.
No.
But maybe after a couple games, you could probably use the Futurists, and then after a few more after that, maybe the Mystics. But yeah, I would say this one is Futurists probably. We had kind of predicted at the beginning that it was going to be the better one, because you were giving me a chance to redeem myself after losing the last 2. And so we do that one. I would say overall it's probably one of the top civs for scoring. Even probably with that, I think there's just a lot of potential for this one.
It's crazy, because I mean, obviously I think that's the one that stands out to most people, just for one, like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And to actually have it be that powerful and that epic, and not just completely broken and failed, is really nice.
So I would definitely say that's a top tier one.
This one, I've had every bet every bad experience. Every bad experience I've had has been with the Mystics. No, every experience I've had with them, I don't know. I probably average 0.5 correct guesses. It's so hard to
It
get
really
that. There's
is.
so many moving parts. You can gain things from, like, you'd be like, okay, so there's this many spots on the track that give me that. It's like, okay, but what if you skip a spot on the track? Or what if you get to repeat a spot? Or what if there's a tech card that gives you something? Or a tile that gives you something?
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many moving parts and so many different ways to gain these things that it's so hard to gauge. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish there was a way, like maybe once per income you can move one of these, like change your guess by one for one of them. I think
that would
something
that would
like
be
that.
helpful.
And it'd give you a little something to do during your income, which would be fun, which I just got to ignore it and just look at how disappointed I was with.
Yeah, I think you're right. It'd be nice if you could kind of move maybe even each one of them or two of them by one spot, each income. I think that would help quite a bit because Tapestry is, I feel, is really a game where you have to be willing to kind of change based on what's happening, what you're getting, and that's why you can try to plan it out with that, but it's just, like you said, so hard because
It's just not.
I feel like if you had tried really hard to get all of these right, granted, say you couldn't have gotten to the end of 3 tracks, I don't think the 30 points you would have gotten for that would have been better than you just getting away from it, filling your capital city, getting tech cards.
Which I pretty much had
conquering.
to do.
Yeah, so
I mean, it would have been better for me to just move everything to 1. I would have gotten 1 more resource.
Right.
Which I'm not the best Tapestry player. I guess officially you are the best Tapestry player in the house.
For now.
But yeah, it's tough. I think that would actually be good. Yeah, to be able to move them around during the income.
It'd make
it
it more
happen. That'd be quite a big adjustment.
That would
It's
be.
actually a gameplay adjustment, not just an extra resource. But I think that would be. I think it would make it more fun, and it would make you feel like you still have a chance.
Yeah, I'd probably put them at on like a 1 to 5, where these ones are like 5.
Yeah.
One of the best. I think these are 1.52 maybe, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, yeah, it can be it can be resources,
worst, but I don't know that they're.
It can be resources and points, but if it is both, then those resources are going to be pretty late for some of them. And
I really like the predicting. I think that part is fun, but I feel like you can, like, you probably figured out like halfway through the game, you're like, I'm probably not going to get any of these. Or if I do, it's like 1.
The tech card was done quite instantly in the controlling the spots on the board. I was hoping you'd conquer me, but that just never happened, and I knew that pretty quickly because you got a tech or a tapestry card that let you claim one of these achievements, and you claim the topple 2 outpost. So I'm like,
well, you're not going to do that.
Not going to come for me there, so I'm over 3, so I'm not going to get back down to 3. But yeah, I think they could use a little help.
Yeah, that is Tapestry. Let us know your thoughts on the Futurists and the Mystics, and with their actual changes or whatever that they've got. Do they play a little more equal? I would think that would hurt these quite a bit, but I think they'd still be pretty powerful overall. But yeah, if you made it this far and you like this, definitely give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe, and you'll hit the notification so you'll see future Tap Talks.
Wow.
Future
the theme of the
theme of the game.
But
yeah, otherwise, we appreciate you watching. We hope to see you on the next one. As always, don't forget to
keep on nibbling
on our Tap Talks.